Good morning and welcome to Morpeth on a could be worse, if I'm honest, kind of Sunday morning. I'll, I'll come back to that in a second. Today I'm here for the Morpeth Northumbrian Gathering, a annual history and community festival held in the northeast town of Morpeth. And you may recall that last year I was here with Mrs. Soup talking to the public about Tudor medicine. In fact, I was right here in the William Turner Garden, and we had a great time. It was sunny. There's a wonderful menagerie of budgerigars and birds just over there. There's a Norman Mott sort of hill fort thing behind me. It's a great place to be. This year we were invited back not for 2 days but for 3, and we started our 3 days on Friday in the marketplace in the middle of town. And it was great, actually. It was a bit cold and windy, but I was joined by the amazing Bethany, who's currently back from university, and we spent the day talking to the public about the First World War, using 3 key case studies to illustrate the home front experience in particular. These case studies are based on real people and research done in local libraries, with documents that we've produced to sort of back up the story and this kind of thing, and to tell the story. And so the first one was a little boy sort of living through school, basically, in Whitley Bay, seeing Zeppelin bombing runs and houses getting blown up every now and then, this kind of thing, and also the change in the adults around him, seeing, for example, the drill hall being set up to recruit soldiers. There was the story of a soldier who came from the south of England, trained in Whitley Bay, again based on a real person, who then went to India, got injured and came back. That was kind of his story, but he also met a local lady and fell in love, this kind of thing. And then there was the third story that was actually quite sad, quite unfortunate, really, of a woman who married a man, an Englishman, whose father was German. And so locals started to accuse her, while her husband was away fighting for the British in Europe, accuse her of consorting with the enemy, being a friendly alien, as they used to call it, or an unfriendly alien. They would smash up her bakery. They planted things on her property like torches and pigeon rings, this kind of thing, to imply that she was trying to signal the enemy in U-boats maybe out in the North Sea, because there was a real paranoia in 1914-15 about people coming in from the sea and taking over the northeast coast. So it was a great opportunity to talk about these sort of case studies with the public. And people seem to enjoy it. We also had one of our 1.5 metre hypothetical archaeology digs set up as well. In this instance, it's based on the vampire dugout excavations from the very famous World War I site. But I changed the name to the Werewolf Trench instead. A cunning name change there, I'm sure you'll agree. but it's just designed to highlight the types of structures and artifacts that are found when archaeologists dig World War I forward positions in Europe. In particular, for example, there was a Bible that's in there, a New Testament that's had the corner drilled out of it, and this is because it was being used for toilet paper, unfortunately. So people would put a ring of rope through it and hang it on the wall and use it when they needed it. And missionaries were like, yes, the New Testament is so popular amongst the troops. And of course it was, because it was paper. It was much needed paper. Now I'm not laughing at the prospect of wiping your bum with the Bible, but it's an amusing thing that comes out of the story of these people in very adverse conditions. So that was day 1, and day 2, yesterday, I was here in the William Turner Garden, the same place where we were last year. And we were doing a combination of things, a multi-period fun day, really. There was Fight to the Death, where an array of defensive and attacking objects and items are available for people to play with, as it were. And what I do is I walk them through, having picked one attacking and one defending sort of item each, walk them through the pros and cons of each, and who in this particular duel is likely to win that battle. So, for example, the axe can hook the shield away from someone, the chainmail isn't very good against an arrow, wearing paper armour, actually, funnily enough, might stop an arrow. So this sort of stuff, a bit of fun, learning by very slowly fighting to the death. There's also the ever-popular Archifacts quiz, where I get mic'd up and put on my full quiz show host persona, and essentially it's a series of questions, 12 rounds this year, not 8. We've added 4 rounds of questions, which are based on the Archifacts video series. So if you've watched those videos on this YouTube channel, you'll probably know the answers to most of the questions. But each round has 5 questions and a bonus round, which makes use of pictures that we sort of stake to the floor to wheedle out who gets to honk the horn of victory at the end of the round. I quite like the question. So, for example, one of them is, especially in the bonus round, so, what did the Romans put on snow to make it yellow, but also edible? Because obviously, usually yellow snow is something you want to avoid. Is it wheat? Is it honey? Is it cowbone? Is it paper? This sort of thing. Hint, it's honey. Oh, I completely forgot to mention this, so I'll just record this and put it in the video here. Yesterday, I also met the Wild Thing. One of the most bizarre, remarkable, and downright surreal reenactment experiences I've ever had. Basically, this is a person in a sack. And, well, take a look.
Look, I believe we have a sighting.
You see what I mean? It's kind of indescribable in some ways, the experience of meeting someone in a sack. And they were explaining to me that they weren't so much reenacting like a historical treatment of people or something like that, but rather appealing to sort of folklore and stories about fairies being captured upon the moorland and this kind of thing. You find this in folklore in well, frankly, across the British Isles, across Europe, but certainly in the northeast and in Ireland, there's similar stories and this kind of thing. And I just find it fascinating. My response to this Wild Thing in the sack. I couldn't stop giggling. I was mesmerised by just watching them move around, and she kept on sort of picking things up through the sack, like with her mouth, kind of thing. It was interesting. It was it almost leaves me speechless, but it was one of the most unforgettable experiences I've ever had while I've been going places with Archeosoup. So that sort of stuff was happening yesterday, and today I'm just unpacking and gearing up for a day of prehistory and also another artifacts quiz, because it's just very popular. But the prehistory stuff we have planned today will be general sort of artifact handling, walking through certain scenarios, maybe how people hunted in different periods of prehistory, the types of foods that they ate, the art that they produced, the tools that they made, and we're going to be allowing people to get hands-on with some of this stuff. So that's what we've been up to at the Northumbrian Gathering 2018, and of course it's not over yet. It's still Sunday morning, but I'm sure we're going to have a good day. And frankly, compared to yesterday, it's already looking better. Yesterday we got fairly bad weather, but today it's a mild, cloudy, but dryish day. I mean, I say dry, it's still damp, but it's not actively raining, which is surely a good thing. So fingers crossed, hopefully we're going to get lots of people coming through and we're going to have a great time. I love it. I really love events like this, and I don't focus on doing them necessarily. It's not this, it's not a main focus of what I do with Archeosoup, but this year we'll be attending 3 or 4 events, and it's always good. It's always really, really entertaining to meet people, to talk to them about the past, but also actually often to learn things from them as well. For example, on Friday in the marketplace, we were learning loads about local landmarks, so pillboxes and trackways and mythology also actually tied with the landscape from people who were just stopping and talking. So it's something that I do enjoy, and it's always a pleasure. Anyway, guys, I really need to crack on and unpack for the day. As ever, until next time, do take care. Bye-bye.